Okay, here are our four featured games for today's card for MLB and using the FanAd. Again, you'll have contests that won't include these four games necessarily, but we've committed to 5 minutes on these little videos here, so we want to just narrow this down. Otherwise, we'd run way over. So let's dig in on this, and let's just assume that these four games are in one of your fantasy contests. Let's go through and try to find our pitcher, and let's go through and try to find our sluggers. So let's just start at the top here. You can see that obviously if we're picking pitchers, we're not going to take either one of the pitchers here for this first game. The PR plus, again, is a number that's generated using thousands and thousands of data points, sabermetrics, etc., and it considers the current matchup. So with Toronto-Detroit today, the pitchers have, the one doesn't even qualify because he hasn't pitched enough games. So we don't give him a number because there's not enough data points. So obviously we wouldn't use the Detroit pitcher. Toronto's pitcher has a 79, which is not a good PR plus. That's why it's colored red. Also, Toronto pitcher Estrada's recency is awful. So it would be, there's no reason at all to take either of these pitchers. And on top of it, there is a 40% chance of rain. And we typically try to stay away from games with rain. So moving on. The next one here, we're probably going to look at real seriously at Rich Hill for the Dodgers. Good PR plus, great recency, good strikeout rating, and we all know that strikeouts are king in fantasy baseball. So we're probably going to take a chance on Rich Hill. Also, Rich Hill's Dodgers are facing a poor bullpen. Why that's important is that you don't want a pitcher to pitch 6-7 innings, pitch lights out, and then have their bullpen come in and stink it up. And I guess I should show here that the bullpen for the Dodgers is rated number 1 in the league. So you've got a good bullpen behind Rich Hill, which means he would very likely get the win if he pitches well. So we're going to go, and on top of it, if you look down here at Tampa, you've got a pretty good pitcher in Chris Archer, 103, but her recency is poor. Strikeout rating is really good, which would be the only reason we'd want to use him today, because he is by far going to be your highest priced pitcher on your fantasy contests, either FanDuel or DraftKings. And we're not interested in using him and burning up our salary for sluggers when we have someone like Rich Hill that's going to be far less price, so it frees up salary for our sluggers. So we're going to go with Rich Hill. We could go with maybe the San Diego. Both of these pitchers look okay. Actually, the San Diego pitcher has a super duper PR plus and a good strikeout rating. So maybe we'll put San Diego's pitcher in one of our entries and then the Dodgers pitcher in the other entry. So we'll put in 2 entries. Okay, let's look for sluggers. Who do we want? First of all, let's look over here at home run rating. Again, home runs are king for sluggers. We're going to use Tampa. Some sluggers from Tampa because of the 3.25 home run rating. We might use sluggers from both Detroit and Toronto because of the home run ratings here are good. The pitchers are awful. So our sluggers will probably come from Toronto, Detroit, and maybe Tampa, although the Angels have a good bullpen, so that kind of deters us a little bit from using Tampa sluggers, just because if the bullpen comes in and pitches lights out. But if this Bridwell for the Angels, if he stays in long enough, he's got a 64, really poor PR plus. He's got a poor recency. So if he stays in long enough, Tampa may get some hits and maybe a couple home runs off him. We're not going to take any sluggers from this last game. These pitchers are just, even though, this is only a 106, which is still pretty good. Their recency is good. Their strikeouts are good. There's just no reason to take any sluggers. Plus, we've got no ump data. We're just going to stay away from this game, especially for sluggers. Like we said, we might put the pitcher in for one entry, but our sluggers are going to come from Tampa, Detroit, and Toronto. I think we've narrowed it to that. That's about all I'm going to point out here because we're bumping up against our 5-minute limit. So I'm going to close this down. Good luck in your contest today, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow.